Again, please. Don't leave now. Okay. The next portion of our evening will be the City Council. We have several different races. We have Paul Harris versus Tom Haler, who is not able to be with us tonight, but he did submit a written statement that I will be reading. We also have Nonnie Hanson, who is running unopposed, and Hannah Rushing, who is also running unopposed. So we'll start with Paul, if you'd like to read your opening statement. You have 1 minute.
All right, 1 minute, okay. Can you hear me? All right, you can hear me. Okay, good evening. My name is Paul Harris, and I've lived in St. James for 43 years with my spouse, Susan. We have 4 children. And I am running for the at-large, or running to be re-elected to the at-large council seat. And this will be my 6th term if I'm successful. So it's been 20 years, and I've enjoyed it immensely, and enjoyed working with the city council and the mayor and the city manager and the city staff. And I look forward to continuing in that vein, and thank you.
I'll read the statement that was provided. My name is Thomas Haler, and I am running for St. James Councilman at Large. I regret missing this opportunity to speak with everyone in person, but due to a prior commitment, I will have to wait until another time. I will keep this as brief as possible as not to interfere with the other candidates that were able to make it. I am an almost lifelong resident of St. James, graduating from St. James High School in 2011. My wife Ashley and I are now proudly raising our 3 children here in St. James, with our oldest starting kindergarten this year. Over the past few years, I've spent countless hours promoting freedom and fighting against excessive government overreach in our lives. I have helped start and contribute to many great groups like Rocks and Cows of Minnesota, helping shed light on what is happening in St. Paul and throughout the state. I've helped lead an effort to stand up for businesses, churches, and citizens that were unjustly affected by Governor Walz's unconstitutional COVID restrictions by bringing a case to recall Governor Walz to the Minnesota Supreme Court. When I look around St. James, I see nothing but opportunity. Our community is primed for growth. We just need a city government and community that is actively seeking it. We need to prove that we can have a city government that will continue to fix and improve our infrastructure while also staying out of the way of our businesses. The owners of our local businesses are smart enough to make their own decisions. We should not be restricting what they can sell. Our city government should also stand up for them when our state and federal governments push unconstitutional restrictions or excessive regulation upon them. Our city government should also be welcoming to all new businesses and industries, making the process of starting in St. James as easy as possible. I will aim to help make all of this possible. I also know our citizens are smart enough to make their own decisions as well. We, as a city government, have a duty to protect the constitutional rights of our citizens. When our state and federal governments fail to protect them, we must act at the local level. We can also give our citizens more freedom by looking through our city ordinances and eliminating any unnecessary ones. For example, our community should be able to have a debate on whether we want to allow chickens in town. Lastly, I love this town. I want to make sure our children and grandchildren can enjoy it like we do. We must continue to take care of our city parks, streets, and other forms of infrastructure, while also promoting the maximum amount of freedom possible. Feel free to reach out to me at any time if you'd like further details or if you have any questions. My contact information can be found at www.thomashaler.com or on Facebook at Thomas Haler for St. James Councilman at Large. I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thank you for your time. Okay, Nonnie, would you like to make an opening statement, please?
Is this the only statement I get, Tracy?
No, you also get a closing statement.
Thank you. Okay. I am Kathleen Hanson. Most of you don't know me as that. That's my legal name, and only lawyers and police department and bankers know that.
Does the police know that well?
Anyway, when I had an opportunity to go to a soccer game in Shakopee today, and I had to tell my Claire, who's 14, that I had a city forum. And then at the same time, I reassured my children that I doesn't know for certain what I was going to talk about, but maybe if I juggled and tap danced, I could open it up and break it a little bit. Needless to say, I don't do any of those things, so it'd be really entertaining. Lifelong resident. I've been here my whole life except for a couple of years. I went to school down in Mankato for sales and marketing, which is kind of a natural thing for me. We raised 5 children, graduated out of St. James High School, and they're really good kids. So I know that between living here in St. James and the education and the faith that we got through our church, made them very, very good kids for the communities that they're in, if they're not here. Love the diversity of our community. We've always had that. My grandparents immigrated also. So we're dealing with the same thing as a lot of what people are doing who are coming to our community. So I can understand what they're going through to a certain point, because all of our family history, and most of you also, were immigrants. So the cultural diversity that we had is now getting even better with our new community members. I am running for council, and this will be, well, I'm just gonna, 18 years ago I was up here, and I was about vomiting because I was so nervous. I was asked to run because someone saw potential in me, and it was something I never saw. So I appreciate the potential they saw, and I've grown a lot through this information at time and council, and I also understand a whole lot more about the world that we live in our city and our state and our government, because I've served on city council. So if perchance you decide that I could do this again through your voting, thank you.
Thank you, Nonnie. Hannah Rushing.
No? Oh, yeah. Sorry. My name is Hannah Rushing. I'm running for City Council Ward 2. I stepped into a vacant position 2 years ago, and apparently I just won by default because nobody else put their name in. So I told myself I would just fill a void for a little while and probably not run again. But I ended up really falling in love with it, and I really enjoy being a part of the community, getting involved in things and understanding why we make certain decisions and the processes behind them. I had a lot of questions about why we do certain things, why certain things happen, and getting involved really helped me understand the processes behind the scenes and helped me get a little bit more educated about my community. And it just makes me even more interested in living here and wanting to stay here and wanting to see it grow and improve. So I've chosen to run again and continue with those processes. I've lived around St. James my entire life, graduated from here, and went off and got degrees, but chose to come back. So I hope to continue staying here and make this place a good place for our future generations.
Thank you. So Paul, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, you and you alone. Aren't you lucky? First question, two-part. What do you feel are the roles of a city council member, and what do you see as the main challenge of this role?
I think a really big part of the role of city council is to listen and to be available, and also to work with the other council members and city staff and the mayor to make decisions regarding budget and our infrastructure issues and our strategies and priorities around those issues. And what was the second part of the question?
What do you see as the main challenge of the role?
Okay, the main challenge. Well, I mean, a lot of it, I think, has to do with financial. We need to provide services, and we need to do that in a wise, expedient way, and not, be in the business of raising taxes in order to, we have to, the taxes pay for our amenities, but it's a balance between, what do you spend and what do we spend, and what we need versus what we want. So that is a challenge, and
Thank you, Paul.
yeah.
Paul, back to you.
How about that?
What do you see as the most pressing issue facing our city?
Just one. So,
Apparently so.
what comes to mind is we talk about business expansion and business getting businesses to come here, but we are really short of housing right now, and if a big business were to come to town, that would be a real issue. I mean, it's an issue now. I mean, like our EDA apartments, we have 12 on the waiting list there, and so finding good housing, and housing that would, suffice for a bigger business, a manufacturing business coming into town, would be tough. So that's a need, and also cleaning up our city. We've got a renewed effort to do that, and we are getting after that. So, but that is a need, and it's something also that reflects on our city. So, yeah, I said two, but you wanted one, but there's two.
That's okay. You're an overachiever.
All right.
If elected as a leader in the community, what opportunities would you take to assure all residents of the city are welcome, important, and vital to the growth and development of the city?
Ooh, that's a big question. Would you repeat it, please?
If elected as a leader in the community, what opportunities would you take to assure all residents of the city are welcomed, important, and vital to the growth of the development of the city?
Well, again, I mean, just down to the council level, it's just important that we listen, and that we're open, and we're fair, and we take people's input seriously and apply it to help us in making our decisions. Diplomacy is part of that, and being understanding, and so, yeah.
Okay. Just to remind you, I'm only asking these questions to Paul because he's the only person that has someone opposing him. How can you keep taxes stable and prioritize the city's needs and wants? Keep taxes stable and prioritize the city's needs and wants.
Well, that's not easy. Again, I mean, like you asked before, I mean, it involves discussion and listening again, and prioritizing, and deciding what is important. Again, priority. What do you need in order to get services provided? What's absolutely essential? We've experienced that when our LGA was cut, and we had back in 2008, and that's state aid from the state, and we had to make those decisions then, and they were tough. And it's like you forego buying that equipment or that truck or whatever, and you have to buy it in the future instead. It gets delayed, and so you have to make decisions like that, and certain programs that are essential may have to be cut, so in order to keep taxes down. So.
Okay. What types of businesses would you like to see attracted to St. James? Why and how?
Well, I already mentioned manufacturing, that would be one. Obviously, I mean, it would increase the tax base and lead to more jobs, and of course, makes it complicating though, but we need housing then, but why is, again, like I said, it would increase the tax base, and how it would be working through our Economic Development Authority and using that body as to recruit and market. And otherwise, restaurant, I mean, I think, you know, St. James could use a sports bar. I think we're lacking in some of our restaurant options, so I think that also would be, just because we need more places to eat, I think how we would do that again through the Economic Development Authority and marketing, so.
Okay, thank you. Hannah, we'll start the closing statements with you, if you'd like a 1-minute closing statement.
Sure. I'm really proud to have grown up in St. James and be a part of the community, and I'm proud to have come back and participated again. So I'm excited to run again, and I'm hoping that I can get more involved in some communities and learn even more about why we do things and get educated, and hopefully we can use that to educate our community members as well, so everyone has some knowledge about why our city functions the way that we do. So that's why I'm running again, and I'm excited too. Thank you.
Paul?
Yes, I as far as I'd ask for your vote, and the things that I want to do if I'm elected again is continue to do planning and working on our city's infrastructure. We've done a whole lot in the last 20 years that I've been on the council, and we need to do more. I mean, we've got an example of it right now in downtown, and I mean, it's messy, but we need to do it. Second Avenue has been terrible for a long time, so. And also supporting the EDA, Economic Development Authority, to continue to attract businesses to our area and to provide small city grants for renovation of our residences and our downtown businesses. And also, I want to promote collaboration, coordination between our school district, the city, and the county. And I want to see that happen too. And I'd appreciate your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you. Nonnie?
Being on city council for the last 18 years, like I said, I've learned a lot. And I also know that it takes all of the people on city council and the mayor and city hall and all the departments to run the city. So it's not run by 1 or 2 or 6 people. It's run by everyone, and it takes cooperation to do that. We've got a pretty darn well-oiled machine going here in this city, and I've seen that happen. It doesn't happen with just one opinion. It's all together, and everybody works together, and we have a great group of people here in our city. I'm very proud to be able to serve for this amount of time and to see all of the different people who have come and gone with our city, and they work very hard to keep our city looking good and to keep our streets cleaned up and our parks beautiful. We've got a great park system that I think we need to utilize. Thank you.
Okay, we will now have another break as we switch to the county commissioner.